Hey everybody, welcome to It's Still Called Today. Some of my new subscribers, you're probably wondering if I'm ever going to post a video again, and yes I am. Today I'm going to do something I haven't done in a few months, and I'm going to explain to you why. Today we're going to talk about Sunday Reflections. This is where I post my pastor's sermon from my church, which is Plano Bible Chapel. And let me stop for a second and say that I'm not an elder or a deacon in my church. I'm just a layman who's very enthusiastic about encouraging people sitting in the pews to read and study God's Word. That's my whole focus, okay? But I was doing for a while a thing called Sunday Reflections, and this is a continuation of that. We are in the process of studying about King David's life in 1st and 2nd Samuel. And we're to the point to where we're talking about how long King David had to wait before he was anointed as king. And my pastor said something at the beginning of the sermon that I had to write down immediately. He said this: God never wastes a good long wait. And that struck me because it reminded me of a great many things, one of which is this channel. I felt like I needed to wait before I posted any videos. I felt like I needed to wait to make sure that everything in my life is where it needs to be, or at least in the process of where it needs to be. James tells us to not to desire many of us to be teachers because we receive a stricter judgment. And I don't think that's just in what we teach, but also and more so how we live our lives. If I'm wallowing in sin and then trying to teach, that's not going to work. But don't worry, I'm not doing that. God's been patient with me. But I feel like I've got a release now to do this. So we are going to march on. Let me tell you about what happens when we wait. I want to show you something. Our pastor said God never wastes a good long wait. For the longest time, I played bass guitar. I played bass guitar from the time I was 13 years old, and I'm 57. In 2019, when I had to sell my house and go into retirement and wound up on disability, I had to sell all of my gear. And I finally, about a year ago, just released that all to God. I said, look, Lord, I've got to do some incredible things as a musician. I've got to play in front of people. I've got to have accolades. And it was wonderful. But I'm giving that up to you. If you want to give it back to me, that's fine. If you don't, I am going to, I'm going to wait and see what you want. But about 2 weeks ago, I ran into somebody who I haven't seen in probably 10 years. And he asked me how things were going. He asked me if I was still playing music. And I said, no, I had to sell all my guitars. And he gave me $500 to buy this. This is my new bass guitar. It's the first one I've had in 5 years. And I stink at it. I haven't picked up a bass guitar in a very long time. But another lesson to wait. You have to be patient. You have to build up those skills again. So when I waited on God, he finally answered my prayer. And I've been waiting on a situation that happened with my son. I haven't talked to him in 6 months. And I waited. And I said, Lord, I'm just going to keep reminding him that I love him and leave it in your hands. Tuesday of this week, he came by, brought me a pound of Starbucks Italian roast coffee, because we're both coffee heads and we're both fragrance people as well. And we had a nice little visit for about an hour and a half, and it was marvelous. See, it's not just about the wait, it's also about how we wait. If we wait with the right attitude, the time won't be so long. And that's one thing my pastor talks about in this sermon. So I'm going to link my pastor's sermon in the description field, and I hope you guys watch it, and I hope you get as much out of my pastor's sermon as I did. Upcoming note, we are going to start on coffee cup verses, but first we need to define some terms. So the next video that I post is not going to be a few months. It's going to be a few days. We're going to talk about the difference between eisegesis and exegesis. Fancy words, but very simple definitions and explanations. So I hope you enjoy this sermon from my pastor. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. And thank you for subscribing to the channel. And my mission here is to encourage people. And I hope you find some encouragement in this. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.